All right, folks, I keep telling you guys, September is going to be a big month for us. We started off, we had Randy Exelby, the man, in for our first Sunday special in September. Then we brought in Brendan Shaw, and he gave us secrets on everybody, including the coach here. Now I thought it was time to jump in, and we're going to do Aaron Cohen, and then we're going to do Lindsey Fry, and the guy that you're seeing right now, I saved the best for last. Greg Powers is going to be our final show guest. So as this one airs, you're going to see Coach Powers talking a little bit about the past, present, and future of hockey in the Desert Southwest. So, Coach, first of all, welcome in.
Thanks for having me, Scott.
All right, let's talk past, okay? You and I sat down shortly after you won an NCAA or an ACHA national championship, and the word came out that you guys were going NCAA hockey. And I remember sitting with you in your couch, in your office, going like, how's this going to work? You gave me a couple of words. You said, we're going to be big, strong, and physical, because we have to be. Okay, starting year 5, what's different?
Not much. I think we have more skill, so we don't ever want to lose that identity. I mean, it was something in order just to survive, and we barely survived in those first 2 years. It was hard. We had to be big, and we had to be physical, and we had to be hard to play against. And when we played that way, we had some success, but it takes time to perfect and really shape a true identity, and I think we have that now.
Okay, so when I jumped in, starting our 5th year, when I started looking at what was going on in desert hockey, the Coyotes were struggling a little bit. They were down. They had ownership issues. Your program had succeeded, won a national championship, but U of A was down. They were getting a new coach. Grand Canyon was playing right here in a beer league. UNLV was restarting with some guys that you're very familiar with. So over the last 5 years, what's been the big changes that you've seen in hockey in the Desert Southwest?
It's just the people. It's the right mix of people running each one of those programs that have stuck with it. They've stayed strong through adversity and through ups and through downs, through more downs than ups. And generally that, when you have the fortitude to get through the low times, you're going to come out on the other side of it clean. And you look at everything that, Danny Roy at GCU, I mean, he's taken them from inception to ACHA Division I, and they got some great things going on over there. They added a women's program. Natalie Rossi's an unbelievable person. I've got to know her over the summer, and she's going to do great things with that program. Then you come here, and you have Lindsay Ellis, who started another program from inception, and seems to be doing like just wonders. And they're probably going to have their most competitive year yet, and their roster continues to grow. And kids coming from all over North America. Then Chad down at U of A has done an unbelievable job. He has them now a legitimate top 10 ACHA team, and I know he wants to win national championships down there, and he has the resources and the wherewithal to do it. He's got it in him. And then you look at what Tate's done here. I think these guys are going to have a tremendous year. I mean, it was essentially a start over. Yeah. I mean, we took what we had and we transformed it into an NCAA program, and Tate took over a club program that literally had to start over, and so he's stuck with it. It's been hard. It hasn't been easy. He's surrounded himself with really good people, and I think they're going to be good this year. I've watched a couple practices. I looked at their roster. They have some good players. They're going to take a big step, and then obviously UNLV's done an unbelievable job. They were a Division II kind of bottom dweller for years, and then Z and Greener and Nick put their heads together and applied a ton of passion to what they're doing, and they sell out every game. They're a big name up there. They're already 2-0 in the season as of today, and so it's just so cool to see the growth and what Lindsey Fry's doing with the Kachinas and new ownership with the Coyotes. I think that's going to really finally take that organization to the level we all want to see it go.
Okay, let's jump in and just kind of piggyback on that one a little bit, because I've thrown a lot of praise to Aaron Cohen for a number of reasons. He deserves it, first of all, but you know what? He came in, and as a media guy, I used to get really frustrated with my cohorts, if you will, because they would go into a Coyote game, and it could have been a 5-0 shutout. And the first question would say, hey, nice win. When do you get an arena? Yeah. Okay? Aaron came in, and I don't know if he ever said that, or if he just made it known in his presence, but I kind of feel he came in and said, let's just kibosh the arena talk. Let's talk hockey. Let's talk about developing hockey, and let's talk about what we can't do, and let's talk about what we can do. And when I heard that and saw that happening, I related it back to you, because every time I want to ask you about an arena, you go like, that's going to take care of itself. The guys are here to play. We're here to win hockey games. Last year you went to the national tournament, and you don't really care about, I mean, the arena is something in the background, but you care about winning hockey games, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's all about controlling what you can control, you know, and unfortunately for me, I can't control a shovel going into the ground and playing in a $120 million facility. That's something completely out of my control. But what I can control is our success and generate enough momentum to where that just takes care of itself. And that's where I think Aaron is gone with his philosophy. He's a smart guy. He's an ASU grad.
Yep.
And
you can throw that out there.
And so he's done a great job, you know. And another guy who started in general counsel and was given an unbelievable opportunity to be the president of an NHL franchise, and he hasn't looked back. He's made the most of his opportunity, and you can feel the momentum with that organization. You can feel it. It's real. It's not like it has been. I've been here for 25 years. It's different. It feels different.
Okay, we talked about the past. We saw the development in your program, but as we lead into the present, how great was it to bring a guy like Austin Matthews here and have him put on the Arizona State uniform? I know you would have liked to see him in that, like maybe in year one, but how nice was it to see him in it, even for a little promo?
It's awesome. I mean, we're really fortunate. He's the ambassador, whether anyone wants to say otherwise. He's the greatest ambassador for hockey for our state. He's arguably the best player in the world. He's easily a top 5 best player in the world. He's an unbelievable kid. Loves Arizona State. Loves what we're doing. Very supportive. Comes and hangs out in our room all summer and trains and brings some big names with him. And so it's really cool that he's almost adopted us as his kind of hometown college program.
All right, let's take a quick break. Let's come back and talk the present in hockey in the Desert Southwest with Coach Greg Powers.
In 1998, Bell Road in North Scottsdale was barely more than desert landscape. Now, 20 years later, what a difference. Our programs have developed junior Coyotes and Arizona Bobcats hockey players, elite figure skaters, as well as skaters that just want to have fun. Our partners prepare you on and off the ice, and we entertain you in the newly restyled 18 Degrees. The Ice Den Scottsdale has been the official practice facility of the Arizona Coyotes and your home for hockey in the Valley. The Ice Den, your home for hockey, skating, and most of all, fun.
All right, we're back. We're in the Oceanside locker room and the friendly confines. And I looked at your schedule this year, Coach, from Talking Present, and I said, wow, Michigan Tech's coming here. Denver's coming here. There's lots of great teams coming to the Desert Southwest. How bad do you want to play them all in Oceanside?
Pretty badly, and we are. The only game we're going to play at Gila River is the Saturday night Denver game. So I'm going to get my wish, you know, and we're going to make the most of it and hopefully have another really good run at home.
We talk about present, okay? We talk about hockey in the Desert Southwest and where we are presently. I think in the last segment we led up to it pretty well, but when I go around right now, and I've made the comment publicly that I think this might be the best ACHA D1 season, competitive-wise. Obviously, your national championship is something that'll never be topped unless somebody does it again, but the competitiveness of ACHA hockey, and it's got to have a soft spot in your heart for how good ACHA hockey has become.
Yeah, I mean, people don't get it, you know, like they're starting to, but you can always educate better and more. We say it all the time, there's not enough stalls. There's not enough stalls for 60 Division I teams. So many good players don't play Division I hockey, and the benefits of going to an Arizona State or an Arizona or Nevada, Las Vegas, and playing ACHA Division I as opposed to going to playing at some small Division III school in Wisconsin or Minnesota, in my opinion, you know, if my son has the two options, he's going ACHA all day. They get to play more games. You get that big school cultural experience with large alumni bases when you graduate. The differences are huge, and so you know, it's right here. I mean, I would have killed back when we were the ACHA team. To have all these regional options to just hop on a bus and go play. We had to get on a plane no matter where it was, unless it was U of A. UNLV was not an option. GCU wasn't an option. You know, Utah wasn't really even an option, and they can bus there now. So it's grown. It's grown exponentially. I think it will continue to grow, and I genuinely cheer for all of them, even U of A I cheer for.
Well, I know you've got a lot of mutual respect all the way around the league, because everywhere I go to, everybody, the first question they say is, how's Coach doing, right? And I'm going like, I haven't seen him all summer because he's been everywhere, China included. But when we talk the growth of hockey and the present state of hockey, ACHA being solid is important, because that's what led you to an NCAA team, right? You had to win an ACHA championship to get where you're at.
Yeah, that was a huge piece of it. There were so many things that fell into place, a lot of luck, and ultimately a ton of success. And it wasn't just a championship. It was going to Penn State and beating them the year before. It was making 3 straight Final Fours, and we had sustained success. And so that's what I tell these guys. I mean, there's no blueprint. You just have to do things the right way. You have to treat people the right way. You have to focus on what's right in front of you. And if you do, I believe good things will happen. A lot of stuff outside of everybody's control comes into play when you're talking about elevating a program to Division I. But if programs like UNLV want to do it and they want to stay a part of it when it happens, they have to win. They have to win.
Yep. I know you've told them that, because they've told me that. But when we look at the next progression, possibly, 5 years ago, there was no UNLV, well, there was a start of a UNLV program, but there was no Golden Knights, there was no City National Arena. Now they have City National Arena. They're getting 2 more rinks that'll be built by next summer in Henderson. General manager or owner, Bill Foley, told me that he wants 2 more rinks. Yeah. So now you're talking 6 rinks. And when I talk about the present right now, that's really what we need, not only here, but I'm going to think that you're going to tell me what your friend Brendan Shaw told me, is that Tucson is the next place that needs some hockey.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's natural. You have, obviously, U of A's, club team has been successful for years down there. And then when I played, it was 7,000 people a night. I mean, it was crazy. And now you have the American League down there, and it's doing well. So they need a facility down there. They need a facility down there. It kills Chad's program to have to bus up to Chandler and Gilbert, start later than everybody, and it takes them an extra month to really get the wheels going. And so they need to grow youth hockey. You need a facility. Hopefully it gets done, and we start to see more rinks go up. And that's where I think Vegas is a little bit ahead already. They just, as a community, have really embraced the sport. Not that we haven't, because we have, but their resources are keeping up with their demand, and that hasn't happened here.
A lot of people told me that when NAU had NCAA hockey and they lost it, that might be the death of hockey in the Desert Southwest. And I know that that wasn't ever going to happen, because you had that vision that this was going to continue to grow, and your days playing and coaching at the ACHA level has got us to where we're at right now. How much more can this grow?
I mean, I think it can grow a ton. I mean, there's nobody would love to see NAU and U of A and UNLV all have Division I programs more than me. It would be incredible. It would benefit everybody. Again, so much has to happen. It's hard. It's hard to do. And at the end of the day, it comes down to dollars, and it comes down to Title IX, and it comes down to ultimately having the right group of people that are passionate enough about making something happen, making it happen. And we had a guy in Ray Anderson who just is the ultimate. He's the ultimate visionary in every way. And if anybody else was here, I'd be doing this interview with you right now, getting ready to go on the ice with the ACHA team.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, let's take a quick break. Let's come back and talk the future. We'll put our crystal balls out in front of us, and we'll see we know where we've been the last 5 years. Let's see where we're going to be in 5 years, because I think you know where everything's headed, and I want to get your opinion on that. So we'll be right back with Coach Powers in just a minute.
Hey, Michael here from M-Drive. My dad, a world-class scientist, actually made M-Drive for himself to stay active and continue enjoying life. And yes, M-Drive supports healthy testosterone, but it's so much more. M-Drive is the everyday supplement to fuel your drive with more energy and more strength. Listen, we'd love for you to try M-Drive too. Visit mdriveformen.com and we'll give you 20% off your first purchase. Just type in the code DRIVE at checkout. Refine your prime with M-Drive.
Welcome back in. This is segment 3, the final segment, because we're talking about the future. I got Coach Greg Powers here with Arizona State Hockey, NCAA hockey in the Desert Southwest. That every time I say that, it just kind of rings in my ears, and I kind of like the sound of it. Yeah. I'm going to ask you to look into your crystal ball, and I know this is difficult because, like you said, so many things have to happen. Let's start at the NHL level, but we talked about the growth of the Golden Knights in Vegas. We talked about the new ownership and leadership group over with the Coyotes, but where do you see? Let me step back a minute. Let me tell you what I said. I said, I think with the new ownership and the new leadership, the Arizona Coyotes are going to be a perennial playoff team for the next decade. You say?
I agree with that. I do. I genuinely agree with that. They have such incredible young talent, and their coaching staff is ridiculous. I mean, you got Rick Tocchet and now Phil Housley with John McClain. It doesn't get any better than that. I think that the mix and what they all bring to the table is really unique, and we're lucky to have such a great staff with our NHL franchise here, and then leadership and new ownership. I've heard nothing but incredible things about Mr. Morello and how committed he is to their success for the long term here in Arizona. So, all the pieces are in place. I think that they worked on, like us, just getting their culture right, getting the right people in place, and then they can go.
All right, so NCAA hockey. Everybody wants to know everywhere I go is the success at ASU real? And I tell them it is. And they go, well, then what's next? Who's next? And, USC, UCLA, all those teams on the West Coast. But I don't think so. I think the next group is going to be UNLV because I think they might have the pieces there. I think you hit it best in the last segment when you said what they need to do now is win. And I believe that they take that to heart because when I talked to that leadership group this summer, 3 words came to mind. They said, you need character, you need depth, and you need stability. Yeah. I think they all 3 have it, and I think they got it all from you.
Well, I don't know about that, but they certainly have character. The 3 of those guys, Z and Nick and certainly Greener, their head coach, they figured out what makes them work together to be successful, and I think they're ready to take a step. I really do. When you build a program and you do something for the first time, we made mistakes here in our NCAA era and learned very quickly that you have to have the ultimate level of character in your room from top to bottom if you're going to have any success. And that's certainly something that, I've talked to those guys about, and they get it. They get it. You obviously need depth. Depth is just without saying in any level of hockey. And then, to be sustainable, you need those 2 things, So I'm excited. I'm excited for their season. I'm excited for all these guys' seasons. I think that every single one of those programs is going to take a step this year.
And what they have that you don't even have yet is a ready-built 7,000-seat arena because they can jump over to the Orleans, and they will play some games there this year. So that is a check mark that they can go. It's not on campus, but it's there, right? Yeah. And that's one of those things that you're talking about. It appears when you have 17,000 people at your first preseason Golden Knights game that you got support in the community, and typically the next step is money, right?
Yeah. They in so many different aspects and many aspects are way ahead of anywhere we ever were.
Right.
When you talk about PR and fan support and facilities, all that stuff, even their interaction with their university is at a much higher level than we ever were with ASU as a club program. They have so much in place that we never had, and they have some stuff in place that we still don't have. Right. And that's why I tell those guys, like, you got to win. You got to win. All we were focused on, again, was what we could control and being a dominant team on the ice, having a great culture, a sustainable culture where you can win at a high pace year after year. We did it. We were 169-23 in 5 years, and I don't think any ACHA team's probably ever going to do that again.
All right, last talk on ACHA, then we're going to talk women's, but the announcement came out about a couple of weeks ago about UNLV, Grand Canyon, and Utah joining the Western Collegiate Hockey Association, and I know I can just kind of tell by your response that you were favorable about that. You wanted to see that, didn't you?
It's awesome. It's awesome. I talked to Z about a month prior. I don't even know if it was on the table or if he just didn't tell me, but I was like, why don't you just join that league? Like figure it out. You can do and we already play all those teams anyway, but you have to if you can play for a trophy in your regular season, it's huge. It's the one thing that we don't have, and we're getting there. We're gonna have it soon, but and so it's a no-brainer. And I know the guys up at Utah are really committed to building that program, and then Danny's committed to ECU. So to see that league grow, I still stay in really close contact with Chris Perry. He's an unbelievable human being, great at what he does, like literally one of the best commissioners in all of hockey, period. And he does it as a volunteer because he loves it. He's that good at it. So Chris is just unbelievable at running that league, and I love to see the growth.
All right. Kachinas hockey. When I walked into Oceanside today and I looked down to my right, just past your locker room and entrance, a big Kachinas logo and girls hockey. Your daughter plays hockey. She doesn't play in the Kachinas roster, but we know why. but tell me a little bit about Kachinas hockey and just the growth of women's hockey in general.
It's awesome. So cool to see. Obviously, I have a soft spot for women's hockey because of my daughter Isabel and her love for the game, and coach a Western Select team of 07 and 08 birth years in the spring, and Lindsay actually coaches it with me. So I've gotten to know Lindsay really well, and just and through her progression into building and Matt's, meeting with them a couple different times about their vision for what the Kachinas could become, and now seeing that a reality it's incredible, and the work that those two in particular put in to make this happen is astronomical. It's something that I think people here in this market always thought could happen and wanted to happen, but nobody had the vision and the wherewithal to actually make it happen. And I was in Gilbert a couple weeks ago for the opening seeding tournament weekend, and my son's team played, who's a 2010, played the U12 Kachinas, and it was awesome. It was awesome to see them actually on the ice and all of that come to fruition, and their social media presence, and it's only going to grow and get better and better, and they're doing a great job.
Okay, let's shout out to Oceanside. I know you're probably only going to be here a little while longer before you get yourself a new arena on campus, which is well-deserved, but how good is Oceanside to always constantly adapt? They adapted when you were an ACHA team. They adapted when you became an NCAA team. Somehow, some way, they're finding room for a Kachinas locker room. Give me a shout-out to Oceanside and what they've meant to your program.
Yeah, we wouldn't be here. Without Adam Mims, we would not be here. I wouldn't be here. Our program wouldn't be here. A lot of people don't know. Mimsy was a senior when I was a freshman at ASU, and he was a goalie. I was a senior goalie when I was a freshman goalie. So we were teammates, and we go back a long ways. He has helped us build this program, ACHA and NCAA. He's easy to work with. He's made us a priority. He's kept the ACHA program in high regard. He cares about it. He sits on their board. He sits on the women's board. He helps Lindsay Ellis and carve out everything for them. And then, obviously, what he's done to help give the Kachinas a home is huge too. And it's one sheet. So when we do move on campus, I think it's probably an easy prediction to guess who I'm going to beg and plead and scream and kick to get over there running that facility.
I hear you. And the other thing and I'll throw this out as we kind of round things out here, with Adam Mims, he gets you a great ice surface. I mean, I've talked to players and coaches that have come in here, and they go, for the desert heat that you have to put up with, to be able to get ice this good, this crisp, this cold, Christmas time you come in here and it's so cold, the Canadians are telling me it's cold.
Yeah, it's he does an incredible job, and Brad Priest is the other guy too. Yeah. Like he's been with us from day one as well. But they just care. They care about giving people the best experience they can give them in such a modest facility, and they do it at such a professional level to where you forget about what this place doesn't have, and you start to appreciate what it does have. And it has really good ice, and it's hard to keep good ice in Arizona.
All right, let me wrap it up by throwing out 3 predictions that I say. I say in 5 years, I'm going to be covering you at a brand new facility, 6,000 seats on campus, so we're all looking forward to that. I think we're going to see another NCAA team. I think it's going to be UNLV, and I think they're going to be close in 5 years. I also think we're going to see a rivalry built between the Golden Knights and the Coyotes, to which they're both perennial powerhouses in the West for the next decade. Your thoughts to those three predictions?
Well, number one, for sure, that's 1,000% accurate and going to happen. And then as far as, the rivalry between the Coyotes and the Golden Knights, like, absolutely, I mean, it needs to happen, and I think the one thing that it's lacking is just how, it's not lacking, but how quickly the Golden Knights achieve success at the level which a lot of NHL teams, not just the Coyotes, haven't. So, I mean, it's just, no one could have saw that coming. The Coyotes are going to get there. They're going to get there. They have some great players, and that, I think that'll happen naturally just because of the geography. And number two, I think it can happen. I want it to happen for those guys. I really do. But they got to keep their nose at the grindstone. And I think the biggest piece of advice I can give them, and I do give them, is don't worry about making it happen. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Focus on the ACHA. Be a powerhouse. They're not a powerhouse yet. They need to be a powerhouse. They're on their way to becoming one. When that happens, then people can say, hey, they've done what they can do at this level. It's time, right? And so focus on what's in front of you, and it can happen. They have the people there to make it happen. Okay, so you heard it here from the coach, man. As we step away for the start of the hockey season, this one's going to air after you're already 1-0 on predicting. I'm going to say that you're going to have a 30-goal scorer in the NCAA hockey ranks this year in Johnny Walker. And I think the biggest surprise in NCAA hockey is going to come from your goaltending crew. I hope you're right on all three of those things. I'll leave that up to you, though. Thanks, Coach. I know you always leave the predicting to me. So thanks again thanks again for stepping in with us. It wouldn't be Hockey in the Desert Southwest without a visit from you. So thanks for capping it off. Thanks for taking the time. And we'll see you all year long as we cover NCAA hockey here at ASU. Thanks, Scott.
Pre-game like a pro, post-game like a champion at College Bar and Grill. Located across the street from the iconic A Mountain and Sun Devil Stadium and a quick walk from Wells Fargo Arena, College Bar and Grill is your home for the best local craft beer, delicious creative cocktails, tasty food, and Tempe's best atmosphere for Arizona State athletics. College Bar and Grill. Pre-game like a pro, post-game like a champion. Online at ilovecollege.co.